Hello, today I am going to talk about clipping masks, what they are, how they work, and possibly give you some ideas as to what you can do with them once you figure it out. I'll be doing this in Photoshop. Let's first look at a couple of examples. When I search for clipping masks online, I get all sorts of examples. I typed in clipping mask examples, and right away you see that a lot of examples are going to be with text where you're getting the message through captured inside the letters of the text. You may see something like this where an image is captured inside of a shape, in this case, a paint splash. Today, I want to do something more like this. You've probably seen profiles with images captured inside, maybe in a movie poster or advertisement. But let's go ahead and attempt to do something like this using a clipping mask in Photoshop. I've already gone ahead and downloaded some images, and I'll just be using two today. So let's open up Photoshop. I want to go ahead and create this on a new canvas, so I won't be opening the image directly. I'll go ahead and choose just the normal art and illustration. Maybe go for 1920 by 1080 resolution, just something to get started. Landscape, and I'll go ahead and call this clipping mask demo 1. Look at my settings. They don't have to be exact. You can use any kind of new canvas you like, depending on the job or project. After reviewing, hit create. So we just wanted a canvas to work on, so I'm going to now start bringing in my content. All right, I'll place him first and confirm that he's placed. And then I'll do it again. Notice that I'm using place embedded when I go to file and place. All right, these are my two images that I want to use. So first, let me edit the image that will actually be doing the clipping, the image that will capture the other image. In order to prepare this, I must first make a shape. You've got to understand that in order for something to go into something else, Photoshop must know what the boundaries are, clearly what the boundaries are, and not just from making a selection. We're going to use non-destructive editing to create a refined mask for this portrait. First, I'm going to go ahead and use Photoshop's select object feature. And I probably want to make sure that I have the layer selected before I do that. I'll go to select. And in that menu, you'll find subject. Let's see what Photoshop finds. Not bad. Did a good job around here, but I could probably touch up around the hair. To do this, I'll use select and mask. There is another video for this if you need to review. Select and mask can be found under select and then choose select and mask. I like to use the black and white view, but if you have another view on, you can use that or change to black and white. I'm going to come over here to my tools on the left and find the Refine Edge brush. and it looks like this. I'll take this brush and use it to find the details in the hair that are missing. I want to make sure that it's on plus mode and that the brush size is a decent size for making the selection. This seems about right. I'm going to slowly go around the edge, picking up on the details in the hair that were not picked up on before. I don't want to paint inside because I don't want Photoshop to include anything inside of the face. That looks about right. Now let me fine tune it with a little bit with the Smart Radius. Maybe I'll go up a little bit, see if it makes a difference. And it does, it finds more detail. But I'm going to stop at about 7 for my picture. You might have to do more if you want to include more in your selection. I'm going to come down here, and really the only one that's going to help me, I'm going to have it find some contrast at about 2%. And then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to turn on decontaminant color. Okay, this is going to eliminate any color on the edge that's unwanted, maybe from the background, and it's going to push the color from the actual subject out to that edge. Consider your output option depending on what you want. If you simply just want a new layer with the layer mask, then choose that. I'm going to go ahead and choose new layer with layer mask. That means it's going to duplicate the original layer and create the layer with the mask. If I choose remember settings, it will remember all of these settings for the next time. Review my settings and hit OK if they're the same. So it did what it was supposed to. It turned off the original layer, it duplicated it, and it put the mask on it. I can now take my move tool and move him to a better position. I do see a little bit of background that needs to be taken out, but I can use my paintbrush and the mask layer to take care of that. If I zoom in, you could probably see it too. It's right about there. Here's how you would edit something like that. Paintbrush, black or white. Black is to hide, white is to reveal. And you can see the mask uses the same colors. So now if I use black and paint on the mask, it will get rid of those unwanted pixels. So you might want to take your time. If that's something you don't like and you don't want to settle for that, I could understand. And I would just simply make the selection again. I'm just going to fade that off right there. All right. Now the main thing is that we now have a selection, a shape. Okay. More importantly, we have a shape. Okay. So I don't wish to add any effect, but you could add an effect if you wanted to. Let's go ahead and turn on the other picture. And I like these colors. I wouldn't want to change these colors, but maybe I can just show you an effect if you wanted to, in that if I added a hue and saturation, all right, you can also change existing colors, different combinations, or you can colorize it and do a solid color. I'll go with non-colorized and just get different combinations, just to show you that you can add adjustments to this as well. So look at what I have. I have my my shape is what we'll call it, which is the profile of the face. That was important. We made a selection of him. We have our subject that will be captured inside of the face, and then we've just applied an effect to it, an adjustment. All of that. Now let's start putting it together. Putting together a clipping mask in Photoshop is kind of like pouring liquid into a glass. Not all glasses are the same shape, but when you pour the liquid into it, it takes on whatever shape. Same thing here. With that said, you always want what you're capturing above what will be doing the capturing, like pouring the drink into the glass. Above. As long as it's above, you're going to be able to apply the clipping mask. To do this, you can manually do it by holding Alt and placing your cursor between the layer that will have the captured subject and the subject to be captured. You'll then notice that a white box with a black arrow appears. When you see this, click once, left click, and you've now captured it. When you see this arrow pointing down, you have now successfully created a clipping mask. The idea works also for adjustments. Let's say I only wanted the adjustment layer of hue and saturation to work on the flag, not on anything else below. You can manually hold the Alt key, place your cursor between the adjustment layer and the subject to be affected. You'll see the white box and the arrow, and if you left click, it will now be clipped or attached to that subject. So the idea of clipping is to attach something to something else. Now, the way that you would do it if this were a certification is you select the layer that will be used as the clipping or be clipped, and you would go to Layer, Create Clipping Mask, and you'll get the same thing. So we've learned that you need pretty much two items to create a clipping mask. One that will create the clip and one that will be clipped. With them arranged in your layers panel, like you see here, you can then clip them using the Alt key or selecting what will be clipped and going to Layer, Create Clipping Mask. I hope you found this helpful. Oh, one more thing. Let's say that you wanted to move this while it's still clipped. You can. Using your Move tool, you can move it around and reposition it any way you want. I could even make it so that it reveals part of the face. Let's see if I mess around with this a little bit, what I can do. I'm now going to go to the clipped object and I'm going to put a mask on it. Remember, layer mask allow you to hide and reveal parts of an image. You can add a layer mask by using this button at the bottom of your layers panel or by going to Layer, Layer Mask, and choosing if you want to start out hiding everything or revealing everything. Most of the time, Reveal All is used, and you get a white box. Now I could take my paintbrush, use black, and let's have fun with this. I'm going to fade the edge of this brush, and while I'm on this mask, I'm going to paint with black. There we go. A little bit of a mix there. Creating clipping masks in Photoshop can allow you to do all sorts of cool effects to enhance your work. Consider this an make your own clipping mask creation, just like mine. Till next time, folks, this was creating a clipping mask in Photoshop. Have fun.